Welcome back to another episode of the Thompson Talks podcast. I'm glad to have you here again for episode 4. I hope you guys are following the Instagram for a start. We're going to jump straight into it because I put up a story the other day asking if people would like a guest episode or a solo ep. Guest episode 1, but I haven't got a guest. It's just me this week. So hopefully that's okay with everyone. I hope you've all been well. It's good to have you back this week. I was looking forward to having a guest this week, but I'll definitely have one by next week. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. This one's going to be a little short episode, not going to be as long as the other ones, I'm assuming. So hopefully it's a little bit better. Hopefully we can get a bit of growth off this one. But either way, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Hope you guys following the Instagram, as I said before, at Thompson_Talks. And exciting news, we've got some new platforms to add to the list. Facebook, now got a Facebook page, Thompson Talks, and a Twitter page also, which is at Talks Thompson. So I couldn't get Thompson Talks on Twitter, so Talks Thompson will have to do. So follow all those pages. If you aren't subbed on the YouTube yet, go do that. Chuck the notification bell on. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. is the upload time, so that's essentially starting this week. So you should be hearing this Thursday at 5 p.m. hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let's just jump into it. Start off with an exciting topic. Lockdown is slowly but surely easing in at least regional Victoria. Not really in Metro yet, but it's exciting, dude. I cannot wait to get out of lockdown. I think from general talk between all my mates and family and just everyone's just sick of it. We've put in the hard yards to try to deal with this stupid virus, and we're getting there. We're getting to a point where it's almost done. So there was a big spreadsheet that the Victorian government put out of what the conditions are of easing lockdown, essentially. And it's going to take a while, but hopefully by Christmas we're all good. God, I just can't wait. I'm looking forward to, one of my mates has moved house recently, and we're all looking forward to catching up with him, having a drink, going and see his new house. Another mate's just got a bike, a dirt bike. He's been keen to get out and legally ride it. We're all me and my mates have a basketball team. Shout out to the Miami Bulls. And we're just missing playing, getting out, getting active. Good for mental health, good for our physical fitness, which we are starting to lose I'm starting to lose all of. But it's been such a long time coming. And there's been heaps of I've heard mixed opinions on people's thoughts on the lockdown easing. Because, some people are like, just get us out of it straight away. We've been in here long enough, just get us out. But then, I'm on the other side where it's like, look, if we have to do this until Christmas to get Christmas, then I'm fine with that. Because I'd rather that we just nut it out in one massive go than have to come back into it again just before Christmas or miss Christmas, because I'd hate that. Best time of year to spend with your family and hang out with friends and stuff. So shout out Mr. Dan Andrews, the Premier of the state. He's a legend. Some people don't like him. I reckon he's the best bloke. He's doing his best, and fuck having his job. I couldn't do it, and I don't know anyone else that could do it. There's all these people that say come on Dan, do something better. It's like, nah, you try and get up there and do what he's doing. He's putting his neck on the line pretty much every day. He has to break the news how many cases there's been overnight, the poor bloke. So, look, I'm happy that lockdown's slowly easing. Let's jump into some things that I'm looking forward to post-lockdown. So, as I said before, I've got a mate that's moved house. Very excited to go see his new house and catch up with his dogs again and his family. And he has started a project that has been inspired from a TikTok, I believe, which is a little beer pong table that he's painting and sectioning off into 8 or 9 sections and giving all of us boys our team's favourite team and our favourite sports logo I'm very excited to see it. Maybe I will try and keep that updated on the Thompson Talks page, and I'll get running updates. I think people would like that. Max, shout out Max, because I reckon he's going to do it. He's going to absolutely smash it. He sent us some beginning updates today, and it looks cool. So that's the first thing I'm looking forward to, is going to see the new house of my mate, catch up. Lives 200 metres from a pub. Cannot wait. Another thing I'm looking forward to is just a bit of normality in sport. I have been absolutely craving going down to our local basketball court and just shred it up for 2 hours at like 8 o'clock at night. The lights on, piercing cold, wearing your basketball jerseys. But that I've realised recently, I know that I'd put on weight, but I didn't realise how severely my level of physical activity has dropped, and my level of fitness, because I went to run the other day, not like go for a run. I think I was just running for some reason, and I was stuffed after like 15 seconds. I had to sit there for a second and go, what does it come to? Like, were the Zinger mozzarella burgers really worth it? I don't think they were. So I'm very excited for sport to come back, especially basketball and golf. I've got some golf talk later in the pod, but I'm excited to go play golf with some of the other boys who maybe don't really want to play it right now because of lockdown. And, my pa or dad or my partner's parents, I'm keen to go play golf. I'm just trying to think of all the things that I'm looking forward to post-lockdown. And I can tell they're so minuscule, and I must have taken them for granted now, or in the past compared to now, when we have little to no freedom. Even just like going out for a day of shopping and not feeling like, let's get out of here ASAP because it's a global pandemic. Like being able to just go to the shops and just walk around for a couple of hours with no intentions. I miss that. And like walking around. Music festivals, that's the next one. And my God, I hope next year we get some music festivals. Don't know how they would do that, and I don't expect that to happen. Even just concerts, I miss going to live music, or just a bar, going to see even just a cover band or something. Like just any sort of live music is something I'm missing a lot right now. So I will get, I'll make that something in the comments on whether you're on the Facebook, the Twitter, or mainly the Facebook and the YouTube. Comment below, what is the thing that you're most excited to, or you're the most looking forward to post-lockdown. I'd be interested to hear what everyone says. We're just sick of it. I think we're all sick of it. And this year's obviously a write-off. So, like, coming into it, maybe people were thinking, I was one of these optimistic people who was like, all right, 2020 is going to be good. We're going to be productive. We're going to have a good year. We're going to do lots of good shit. And then March hit, or Feb. I don't even remember when this started. And it's just sent everything into chaos. Just absolutely sick of it. But, yeah, hopefully everyone's doing all right that's listening to this. And, yeah, comment below what you're most looking forward to post-lockdown. Let's jump into another topic. Segue into golf. So, went for another round of golf today with a couple of mates. Shout out the boys from Shower Beers. They will be on the podcast eventually. They know who they are. Went for another round of golf. Didn't have the best day, but geez, it was making me excited for summer weather. Sun was out for most of the day. I was just in a pants and a shirt, so I was just soaking in the sunlight. And I have been white as a ghost this year because I've just been inside for most of it doing absolutely nothing. So getting a bit of sunlight was absolutely beautiful. Good for the body because I needed to get out and do some exercise. Good for my mental health because I love getting a bit of sunlight and having a day out with some mates. But it was good. I didn't have a particularly good game of golf. I think I'm getting slowly better. I hit the ball into the dam. Wasn't good. I think I lost like 4 or 5 balls today, which is atrocious. But it was fun. I'm getting there. Eventually you'll see me. You won't see me anywhere because I'm not taking golf anywhere. It's just going to be a good background hobby. But shout out the Shower Beers boys. We had a good round today. One of them hit the best shot of the day on the 18th, a little 30 or probably 25-foot chip straight into the pin. So shout out Connor, good shot, mate. But golf has been fun. It's been a good way to keep my mind off of the fact that we're kind of locked down and not really able to do much, because especially with the basketball, like watching the NBA, and I'll jump into the NBA in a sec. I'll leave it. I've decided that I'm going to try to put the more interesting topics at the front, because I have had some feedback that not everyone likes the stuff like the console stuff and the NBA stuff. So I'm going to start putting that towards the end, so the people that really want to hear that can hear that at the end. But golf's helping me take my mind off the fact that I can't go and play basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport to play. If I have the opportunity to play basketball, I'm motivated to go play basketball just because I can. And I've spent like thousands of dollars on basketball jerseys. They're all just sitting stagnant in my cupboard, because of the weather mainly, but also because I don't get the chance to go down to the court and have a few shots. And golf's been a good distraction. Golf's a fun sport, but sometimes I don't have the patience for it. Whereas basketball, you don't really need as much of that patience. You can kind of just go out there and play to your heart's content. So I've been missing basketball heavy, but I have been able to get my fix because the NBA playoffs have been going on. I don't know what's happened in between now and last podcast. I don't know if many people care, but my Celtics took another game on Toronto. They took one first and then we took one, so it's 3-2. For the game's on tomorrow morning. I was going to record this podcast after the game so I could, get the results, but would have just been too shit to edit and get up by 5 p.m. So, game tomorrow morning. Go Celtics. I reckon we got it in the bag. There's rumours that Serge Ibaka won't play, which would be massive for us. Lowry's probably on his last leg. He's played like 45 minutes every game, which is ridiculous. But go Celtics. The Bucks, man. I'm so disappointed in the Bucks. They had the MVP on their team, Defensive Player of the Year also, and they just couldn't do it. I just wanted them to at least take a couple more games, because if we don't win tomorrow, then we go to a Game 7. Either one of the teams, either one of Toronto or Boston that win, go to play a fresh Miami, and that's shit. Like, that'd be a tough challenge for whoever plays that game. So disappointing in the Bucks. LeBron James is still the greatest player in the league. I'm not going to talk more about that. He just is. We had like 36 and 5 blocks today, which is ridiculous for how old he is. Father Time doesn't look to be slowing him down, which is excellent. And Clippers look like they might have a handful with the Nuggets, which is good. It's interesting to see. I would kind of like to see Clippers-Lakers in the conference finals, but at the end of the day, if the Nuggets get through, they're looking like a scary, scary team. So, look, I wrap up the basketball talk because I know a lot of people don't like it and a lot of people aren't interested in it. Quickly do the console talk. There was a little bit of Xbox news. The Xbox Series X and a smaller version of the console, the Xbox Series S, were leaked, or the prices were leaked, coming at around 700 Australian for the X and 400-ish Australian for the S. And the S is essentially a smaller, less powerful version of the X, but it's the same console. So I think I've decided that I'm going to get the smaller one because it's smaller in terms of actual size. It's 60% smaller than the Series X, which is ridiculous. And it's so much cheaper. Like $400 compared to $700 is, you can almost buy 2 of them for the price of the big boy. So, and I'm going to say that eventually my love for consoles is going to dry out by the end of this console's lifespan. So hopefully this one can get me through. I was thinking about, I haven't fully decided, but I am pretty set that I would like to get the smaller console. More Black Ops news. I think the multiplayer gameplay trailer, multiplayer reveal should be tomorrow, which is exciting. Yeah, that's really it for the console talk also. Alright, now I want to jump into a topic that's also I've just listened back to some of the recording, and if you can hear my chair squeak every now and then, I apologise. I'm a big lad, so I do make chairs squeak. So apologies in advance. But let's jump into this topic, which is the podcast's support, or just the feedback and everything that I'm receiving for this podcast. And it's just been so cool. It's been so cool. This is something that I just started for fun. And, I get that it's probably not very entertaining for a lot of people. But for some people, it's good background noise. I like to listen to podcasts as background noise. So adding another one to the list, I listen back to all of mine as well. It's nice. And we've just recently hit 1,000 watch time minutes on YouTube, which is massive for me. Like, I know I shouldn't really look at the numbers for this, because at the end of the day, it should just be about enjoying doing it. And massive shout out to Oscar, my best mate, because I was in a bit of a rut recently, and I was just thinking, like, what's the point in doing this podcast? It's not growing, like, nothing's coming from it. But kept me on track, and just let me know, like, you shouldn't be doing it for the numbers, like, just do it for fun. He said that by the sound of it, it sounded like I was enjoying it, which is massive for me, because I am. And the fact that people can hear that I'm enjoying it is really, really big for me. And, just to sort of reflect on this and almost keep it, even if it doesn't grow, in the future, it could just be something I look back on, maybe show my kids, like, yeah, well, this is what life was like when I was 20 years old, when I was young and stupid and doing all this shit. And it's made me kind of appreciate, well, one, what I have, because, I'm very lucky to be in the situation that I'm in, to have a loving family, to be live happy, live nourished, live peaceful, all this stuff. I'm very lucky to have all that. And sometimes you just need a little bit of that, a wake-up call. Whether it's, to continue that podcast, or continue doing something that you're doing that maybe you think other people think you're stupid for doing. Like an art project, or you're working on music, or you're thinking about streaming, or you want to sing. You just got to pursue it sometimes, because a lot of times you don't take for granted, or you do take for granted being happy, and you kind of put it to the side, like, oh yeah, like, oh, I'm fine, but sometimes all it takes is that one night, or that one person that you talk to, that one conversation that's like, are you happy, bro? It's like, yeah, well, I am happy, but maybe I'm not happy all the time. Maybe I come home from work and I'm feeling shit, and I just want to go to bed and just talk to no one, see no one, close my eyes, go to sleep, watch YouTube for 6 hours, And those nights are normal. Like, you're allowed to have those nights. But I think a lot of people have those nights a lot more than they should be having them. And that kind of awareness to know that maybe you're not as well as you could be is something that I really want to make sure people understand is, important, because nights, like, sad nights don't need to happen like 4 times a week. Like, you can have a shit day at work, and that sometimes there's nothing that can fix that. Like, you go to work, you just have a massive day, you get home and you're like, nah, that's like, this day's a write-off, or just go to bed, forget about it and move on to the next day. But you got to make sure that those days don't start piling up. And I've found a good way to do this is to obviously this is the most common sense thing ever, don't bottle it up. But sometimes you might not feel comfortable talking about it, and you might not want to admit that you've had a shit day, and you kind of just let your anger get the best of you, and you might lash out at someone or whatever. the best way to do it is not to compress it, but to, just try to enjoy yourself for whatever rest of that day that you have. So, you might go to work, you might come home feeling shit, you might just want to go to your room, and maybe you do. Maybe you go straight to your room, and then I've found a really good thing to do. Go have a warm shower, get out of your work clothes, or get out of school clothes. Like, this is not just a adult person thing, this is a young person thing. Get out of whatever you're wearing during the day, get into something comfortable, go, wash your face with cold water, have a shower, go get a drink, and maybe sit in your room for, half an hour, watch some videos or something, but go socialize, or go have a conversation with one of your mates, or, have a video call, or get on PlayStation with your mates and have a talk. Because sometimes I think these extended days of having shit days lead to an extended period of feeling shit, and that can be, overwhelming. Like, I'm no mental health expert, and probably no use in taking advice from me, but from personal experience, I know those nights where especially when you bottle it in and you lash out at someone and you don't mean to, it's better to prevent that situation than having to recover it. So just talk to someone. Even if you say to them, look, I've had a shit day at work, I'm not feeling the best, and your good friends or people that will really support you will understand that, and just being around people will often help you. Just get some space. Maybe just go watch TV with someone while you go on your phone. Like, just knowing that someone else is in the room can help a lot. But look after your mates also. Like, if you can tell that you think someone's had a bad day, just go message them, just talk to them, send them a Snapchat. Even if you don't know what their day's been like, or you haven't talked to them, just message your mate out of the blue. Just like, hey man, are you okay? Like, not even that, just like, what's going on? Catch up a little bit. I think I spoke about this last time I had a solo podcast, because, look after your mates. They're very, very valuable people to you, and you should be ensuring that they are just as well as you are, and you should all look after each other, because especially post-lockdown, who are you going to have a party with if you don't have your mates with you? So look after yourselves, look after your mates, get everyone on the beers when lockdown's over. It'll be good stuff. Just look after everyone. We're going to jump into a little bit of a lighter topic and a new segment of the podcast that I have just come up with right now, and I think would be funny and a good way to interact people with this podcast. And for now, we're just going to call it story time, which is the most boring and basic way of saying it. And essentially, what we're going to make story time is you can comment or message the Instagram or message YouTube, I don't know if you can do that, or Facebook or Twitter, and send in stories that you want me to read out from the podcast, whether they're, something that's happened in your life, or something that's happened to a mate, or something you've heard, just something that you think would be an interesting listen. Gonna get everyone to send, or if you want to send in a story, send it into the Instagram or the Twitter or the Facebook, or comment it down below on the YouTube. And to get it started, because I've just made it up, I'm gonna do a story right now. And this story is about me. It's not my finest hour, but I think it'll be a good story. And it involves going to a festival last year, or almost going to a festival last year with a few of my mates. So we went down to Melbourne. There's a big festival on. We planned it for months. We had places to stay. We were all prepped. And we were keen, head down in the morning and get to the apartment that a couple of my other mates are staying. And I forgot to bring drinks for pre-drinks. Stupid. So, the whole way I'm on the train, I'm thinking I probably should get drinks. Maybe I'll just message one of my mates that's already there and see if they have anything. And one of my mates said, yeah, we've got vodka out the arse. We got 2-3 bottles of vodka. I've just been mixing it with juice. It's all yours. I was like, excellent. That saves me money and a bit of time. We don't have to stop off. So train rocks into Melbourne. We get there, get an Uber eventually to the apartment that they were staying at, which was probably a good 20 minutes from where the festival was. So a good 20-minute Uber ride. So I get there, they come downstairs and greet us and bring us up, and instantly we're all drinking. So the vodka's got to do a shot first. It's complimentary. You always have to do it. So have a shot, and you start getting on these vodka juices. Now, this day was a day that I've cemented in my life as the day that vodka has been forever deleted from my palate. I cannot drink vodka without thinking of this day. So we have the shot, and my mate pours me up this vodka and tropical juice. The vodka was in the freezer, ice cold. The juice was cold, sipping it out of some fucking champagne glass that this apartment had. And they went down a little bit too easy. I think I had a lot of them, maybe 5 or 6. And from the little that I do remember of this day, I was pouring a lot of vodka into these glasses. So I'd had the first one, gone. Second one, gone. That's probably the last one I remember. Remember there was a bit of drama on this day because there was a girl that was dividing the group. And I feel like at some point I decided I'm going to be a therapist, and I started talking to everyone individually to try and scope out the situation. Definitely was the alcohol. And if any of you boys and that the person that I'm talking about are listening to this podcast, I was very pissed that day, and I think you all know that. So, we started drinking at probably like 11 a.m. Festival starts at 12. All the good acts don't come on till like 2, 3. So I was drinking at like 11, and we decided we want to go down at like 1:30 to go see the first act that we wanted to see. And I'm not well. I very vaguely remember stumbling down the hallway, getting into the elevator, and getting into the Uber. And I had the Uber with 2 of my mates and this other mate that was an acquaintance to me. I didn't know them very well. And, we're on our way, driving, and eventually my stomach just said no, and I had no control over it. I was that out of it that I didn't have time to react, to open the door or say anything, and my stomach was all over the back seat of this poor man's Uber. And I've realized what's happened in my head, and I'm kind of just like, fuck, like I've done something real bad here. So Uber driver pulls over, we all get out of the car. For some reason I vaguely remember him pulling a towel out of his boot. I don't know what that was going to do. I hope that dude's car survived. Apologies for that. If I ever have that Uber driver again, I'm sure he'll kick me out before he even lets me get in the car. But I have emptied my stomach into the back of this car, profusely vomited, and I'm now out of the car on the sidewalk. I thought my fit was unreal that day. I had these, I don't remember what shoes I had on. I had a black pants. I had this sick Nike top that I just bought. White. Of course it was white. And it was now yellow. And we were so far from home, and I was in a state that was incomprehensible, that I had to walk home. And shout out to the 2 people that walked me back to the apartment, because you guys are absolute weapons. I don't remember this walk, but it must have been so embarrassing. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because my t-shirt was yellow. It was so bad. These 2 people helped me walk home to my apartment. We get up there, they get me in the shower, and I get back, I sort of into it again, and I go back, I get into bed, and I lay down, and I slept. And I missed the festival, the entire festival. And to this day, that is one of the festivals that my mates bragged the most about. They had the best time at that festival. They got to essentially meet Flume. My little brother who idolizes Flume, who was on the podcast the week before that, episode 2. He idolizes Flume, got to shake his hand. He's got a photo with him, which is crazy. It's such a cool photo. And I missed all of that because I drank too much. So, moral of the story is don't underestimate vodka and just don't drink it. It's shit. And yeah, that's my story time story. So, to finish the story, I fell asleep. I woke up at the end of the festival and then decided to get on a train and went home and just left. So that's my story time. Leave in the comments or message the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. Give me some stories to read out. I'll have guests and I'll make sure I get them to bring a story time from now on. And yeah, look, I think that'll do it for this week's episode. It's a nice and short one. Hopefully it's, let me know if you guys like the shorter ones. Maybe the shorter one's the way to go. Sorry that there wasn't a guest. Again, next week there will be. I'm not sure who it'll be yet. If you want to get on the podcast, if you're someone I know you want to get on, just message me on anything. I'm sure I'll be able to book you in. And yeah, look, that'll do it. Remember to follow all the socials. We got heaps of them now. Thompson_talks on Instagram, Thompson Talks on Facebook, Thompson Talks on YouTube, at Talks Thompson on Twitter. Haven't got the Thompson Talks at. I'll try my best to get that eventually. But yeah, thanks guys for listening to this week. The word. Let's make the word. Let's make the word Tatum. Tatum for this week, because I believe in the Boston boys tomorrow morning and I reckon we've got it in the bag. So the word's Tatum. Comment Tatum. Let me know you've got this far in. Leave me a story time in the comments. And also, what was the thing that I said to comment? What you're looking forward to most post-lockdown. Let me know. And yeah, thanks for listening to this week's episode, guys. And I will catch you next week.